Welcome all. In this video, we shall familiarize with the Matplotlib module. Particularly, we will deal with plot function and show function available with the pyplot submodule. The submodule pyplot available in the Matplotlib. Okay. Basically, Matplotlib is meant for visual representation of data. So we will first discuss about two-dimensional figures. The first one is a line graph. So the plot function is used to generate line graphs, and the show function is used for displaying the plots generated. So first, the plot function. The simple syntax is this: plot the x points, sequence of x points, then sequence of y points. Then what should be the format? We will discuss format in detail, and you can control the properties of this line graph by several keyword arguments. And as you can see in the syntax, the x data is not compulsory. It is taken as 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. And y data must be specified, and format, there is default format, but still you can control the format. Here format means you can control the color, what types of markers are used, and what type of connectors can be used. Alright, we will see all these properties in detail. Okay, in fact, you can have multiple plots with a single plot function. You can see that the set x, y, one second. You can see that the first set x, y format is for first line. Then you can have another set x2, y2 and format 2 for the second line, etc. You can add as many groups as you need. So this is the basic syntax. Now there are several keyword arguments available. We shall see several keyword arguments also in our example video. Okay, now we shall deal with the parameters. We have already seen what x and y are. They can be array-like or even a list. List or NumPy arrays can be used as x and y data. Please note that the length of x and y must be the same. They are respectively the horizontal and y vertical coordinates. Now, as we already said, these x values are optional and default to range len of y. That means if there are 5 items in y, then range y will generate 5 integers, namely 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 as a list. Okay, so this will be a list 0, 1, 2, 3 etc. up to 4 if len of y is 5. That means if there are 5 elements in the y group, automatically generate 5 integers starting from 0 for the x data. Okay, commonly they are one-dimensional arrays. However, you can have two-dimensional arrays, and in that case the columns represent separate data sets. We will see that in examples. Then the FMT, that must be a string and is optional. A format string, for example RO, red and O for circles, and we will see all the possible colors all the possible markers and all the possible connectors. And a format string are just abbreviation for quickly setting basic line properties. All of this and more can also be controlled by keyword arguments. You can set any one of these properties by keyword arguments. Now let us just look into format strings. A format string consists of part for color, then marker and line. Color means what must be the color. That is obvious. Marker means when we consider several x points versus y points, we will first mark x1, y1 as a point, then x2, y2 as another point, something like that. So they are called markers, and lines are basically connectors of these markers. So when we plot a two-dimensional line graph, first we will mark all the given points x0, y0, x1, y1, etc. Once it is over, nearby adjacent markers are connected using straight lines. Okay, you can have straight solid lines, you can have straight dotted lines, and even you can have another possibilities. Okay, dot dash, etc. So we'll see. So this is the order. The first character must represent the marker, then line, then color. So there will be this, basically format will be a string. The first character represent the marker, then the next character represent the line, and the last character represent the color. So it is not compulsory to specify all the three, but you can specify them according to your convenience. Okay, so there are optional values and it will be taken. I mean, if not specified, the value from the child cycle is used. And one point you have to consider is this: if line is given but no marker, then the data will be a line without markers. That means if you are specifying only line and color without specifying the marker, then there will be no marker. That's it. You can have several markers available. You can have point marker, and for that you have to use dot as the character, then pixel marker, then it's colon. If you want to make it as a circle, then O, then triangle down marker means V, so and so forth. So if you are using plus marker, then you can have plus. If you wish to make diamond as a marker, you can use capital D. If you want to make it as X, as we usually do, you can have X. Okay. If you wish to have a vertical line, you can have this straight line, vertical line marker, and so many markers are available. I request you to try all this. Okay. Then you can have several line styles, as I already told. You can have solid lines. For that you can have a dash. You can have dashed line, then dash dash. Then you can have dash dot lines, then dash dot, and you can have dotted lines for that column. Right. Then you can have colors, different colors. B stands for blue, G for green, R for red, C cyan, so on and so forth. Then you can have various ways. There are various ways to plot multiple sets of data. The most straightforward way is to just call plot multiple times. That means you first call a plot, say plot x1, y1 with blue as the color and O means circle as the marker. You can have the second plot function like this. x2, y2 is plotted. So when you use these repeatedly, and after that when you use show function, you can see 2 lines. You can have multiple lines, as many as lines you require. Alternately, you can have a 2-dimensional array. You can pass it directly to x and y. A separate data set will be drawn for every column. So it will be something like this. Example, you can have an array A where the first column represent x data and the other columns are y columns. Then you can plot something like this. Plot a of 0, comma a of 1 colon. A of 0 means the first column and a of 1 onwards the remaining columns. Then you can have multiple plots. The third way is there. You can have several groups, XY format groups, something like this. Plot x1, y1, then format 1, then x2, y2, format 2, so on and so forth. And please note that in all these cases, this format is optional, and format for each group must be specified after each xy, right? Okay, now let us familiarize with the plot function and show function. So for that, let us first import the matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. So plt is the standard, is the commonly used or standard identifier for matplotlib.pyplot. However, you can have any identifier according to your choice. So once you import, it's ready. Now you can now let's construct 2 sequences. I prefer a list, say 2, 4, 1, 8. So this is one sequence. Now let me consider another sequence y, which is equal to some 8, 1, 5, 0. So I randomly selected 2 sequences having 4 elements. Okay, now let me generate a 2-dimensional plot, plt.plot. For that, plt.plot, then x, y. So this is a simple case. So a plot is now ready. Now let us see the plot generated. So for that we have to use show function. So plt dot show. All right. See, let us check the result. So the first point is 2, then 8. So let's check 2, then 8. So this is the point, right? Then next point is 4, 1. This one 4, 1. So you can see that there will be, by default, the marker is point. So there are 2 points. Here one point is there, here another point is there. So it is connected using a straight line, straight solid line. So this is the default line style. The next point is 1, 5. So this is 1, then this is 5. So 1, 5 is this particular point. Previous point is 4, 1. So 4, 1 is connected with the 1, 5. So this is the way. This is the way a 2-dimensional plot is generated. Okay. As I told you that there is only one compulsory argument, that is y data. Let us call plt.plot function with a single argument y. Okay, and let's see the graph. So let us see it. Okay, please see the y data, that is 8, 1, 5 and 0. So by default the y data are taken as 0, 1, 2 and 3. So there are 4 elements in y. So there will be 4 integers in the X list automatically generated. So the first item will be 0, then 0, 8, followed by 1 1, then 2 5, correct, then 3 0. So you can see that adjacent lines are connected by straight lines. Okay, hope you understood how a single plot is generated. So these are the arguments. Now let us control the properties by different markers and by using format string. So please note that the format strings are marker, then followed by line, then color. Okay, right. So let us use some markers and etc. Okay, so here I am going to use a keyword argument, say marker equals, so I am going to use plus for marker, sorry, that must be a string, and you can see plus here as markers. Okay, now this is how a single keyword argument is used to control the properties. Okay, you can have different marker styles as you wish. You can have a format string if you require. So for that, please note that the format string is something like this: marker, then line, then color. Okay, marker you can have O, circle as a marker, then followed by line. You can have dotted lines, so we wish to have dotted lines, and for that we have to use dot dot, then or use this dash. Okay, then we'll choose red color, so this is it. Now let us see how the graph looks. See, I used solid line minus for the line type, and you can have dotted lines as well. Okay, see, I have used markers as O. O means circle markers. Okay, then I used the color as red. Okay, this way you can control different markers. Fine. Okay. You can have different markers. All the available markers are listed here. You can have different colors. So if you are using minus minus, then you can have dashed line, and if you use minus dot, then dotted lines, then dash dot lines, and if you are using a colon, you will get dotted line. So if you are interested, we can just change the style. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now it's dotted line. So this way you can control the line properties. Okay, so another keyword argument, you can have marker size. Marker size equals, say, some 20, and you can have marker as okay. Now I have changed the marker size, so I just used the marker size as 20. so that makes the size very large, and I used star as the marker. So this way you can control many properties, and I request you to get the details and details by typing help, then plt dot plot. So this will give you a detailed explanation. All the available keyword arguments will be listed there. I request you to explore the possibilities. Okay, you can view this and you can see everything with examples. Okay, so that's all about a single plot. Now next we'll see how multiple plots can be generated. So for that I'm going to create two arrays. Say first array is A, and for that I have to import numpy. Import numpy as np, then np dot arrange np dot arrange 1, 5, 1. So that will be the first array. So let me call it as A. So A is equal to np dot arrange np dot arrange 1, 5, 1. So you can guess what it will be. So that will be an array 1, 2, 3 and 4. There will be 4 elements. Now I'm going to create another array B equals np dot array of a sequence. So let me use the squares of the previous values 1, 4, 9, 16. So that's a sequence. I'm going to convert that into array. You can see what B is. Okay, now they are arrays. Okay, and let me create another array. C equals np dot array of, basically that is not required. I'm going to generate the cube. So that is cube of A. So C is 1, 8, 27 and 64. So I generated the squares and cubes. Now I'm going to generate several plots. Plt dot plot. First let me create a plot having numbers and their squares. So A, B will generate the first one. Then I have to generate another array, another one, and for that, so first let me use this idea. I have generated a two-dimensional graph, A versus B, that means number versus their squares. Again I'm going to generate another one, plt dot plot A, C, numbers and their cubes. Okay, so I called plot function twice, and thereafter I'm going to call show function, plt dot show. Okay, you can see the first line will be blue in color, and that is the default color. So 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9 and 4, 16, and this is for the cubes. Okay, this is how multiple plots are generated. Okay, there is another way to generate the same thing. So the same can be done like this, plt dot plot, then A, B, A, C. Let's see the graph. It looks the same. Now if you wish, you can have some format strings. So for the first one, let me use a format string like the first I will use marker. So let me use the marker as O, then circle marker, then followed by the connector, so let me use dotted lines. Then let me use black, so K stands for black. Then for the next one, I'm going to specify some format string, so let me use star as the marker style, then dash dot as the line style, and red as the color. Okay, now let me see the graph. Okay, so the first line is circle as the markers, dotted lines, black is the color. Next one, dash dot is the line style, star is the marker, then red is the color. Okay, fine. Okay, we have seen through some examples different possibilities of using plot function to generate line graphs. Okay, so I request you to practice all those things, namely how to generate multiple plots, how to control the line style of each plot, how you can change the color, marker face, etc. using format strings as well as keyword arguments. Okay, thank you.